This has been the best podcast recording experience I've had, and I've done a lot of podcasts.
Ariana Alexander, Sefre. We just finished an incredible sound bath meditation.
It was such an intense experience.
Our body has a frequency, and to be healthy we need to be between 62 and 70 hertz. Anything below that is cancer.
I think the male mental health issue is a really, really important thing. 75% of suicides are male, and is one of the big factors in that.
I am worthy of love.
Musicians have always been the world's natural healers. We're trying to bring that back and put artists at the forefront of mental health.
If you are new here, I'm Garima, the host of Popkast with Garima, and this is season 4. Oh, and a big shout out to rollercoaster.health. Rollercoaster.health is a women's healthcare company which supports you in your hormonal highs and lows and twists and turns. Thank you, rollercoaster.health. This is stunning. I'm so excited. Look at this place, it's just so gorgeous.
Our body has a frequency, and to be healthy we need to be between 62 and 70 hertz. Anything below that is cancer, illnesses. It's so important to keep our frequencies high. So welcome everyone, and it is lovely to see you. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in the divine light from heaven into your heart, and breathing out. When you're breathing out, the divine light is creating a protective bubble around you. Just sit comfortably. Notice your pattern of breathing. Through your nose, into your heart, breathing in the divine light, protection from your ancestors and guides, and breathing out all that does not serve you. Repeat after me again. I will accept love from others.
I will accept love from others.
And repeat after me again. I am worthy of love.
I am worthy of love.
Remember, your intent and my intent together is what really matters here today. You are your own healer. not done, everybody. Welcome back.
One eternity later.
Ah, Ariana, lovely to meet you. Are you with Garima?
Yes.
Ah, lovely to meet you. Okie Thank you so much for that. Yes, thank you.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Popkast with Garima. We just finished an incredible gong bath meditation, a sound bath meditation, and I have the absolute privilege of having with me Ariana Alexander. Ariana is the founder of Spoke. Spoke is UK's leading music-based mental wellness app. It's artist curated, it is science-backed, and it's as easy as just listening to your favorite music. That's right. Ariana, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I'm just laughing because it was such an intense experience in a good way. So this will be a very interesting conversation.
I'm so glad. Thank you for making all the way to here.
You're very welcome.
Amazing. Let's start right off the bat, okay? Cool. I heard a song which is called Weightless, which is by Marconi Union, and the song claims to reduce anxiety by 65%. It lowers your blood pressure rate. It is scientifically backed, designed by neuroscientists, also gets your pulse rate on a steady pace. That is the magic of sound and the magic of music. Yeah. Are we expecting something similar with Spoke?
Yeah, so I love Weightless, and I love, there's a lot more songs that they've made as well. So using functional sound kind of properties like the right tones, you know, matching the BPM, you can take someone from a state of anxiety into a much calmer and more relaxed state using ambient sounds. You know, if you look at functional sound science, you'll be able to see all the different kind of things that you can do on a production level to create music that can really, just release those physiological symptoms that are connected to anxiety. So we do things like that as a baseline in our production. So we will, for example, let's say you're feeling quite stressed, we might match the BPM and then slowly kind of bring you out of it by bringing it down, because your heart rate usually matches the BPM that you're listening to. So it's very powerful being able to match that. And then obviously the right tones and frequencies. But saying all of that, we're called Spoke for a reason, because we believe in the power of storytelling, sharing tools, the use of language. So our power is firstly in the sound, but then mostly in the way we use language and the way we deliver important tools and guidance and, you know, coaching and therapeutic advice, but it's through lyricism and it's through song, and that way it can actually bake into your head and your brain, we find more effectively, because it is rhythmic and it's got flow. So we sort of bake these two things together. Powerful functional sound science, which comes into all of our production, and then the use of language, which can deliver the kinds of tools that maybe a lot of people who have never been to therapy before, never tried coaching, never had the access to the wellness tools that a lot of other people might have had, they now can access those things because it's culturally relevant.
That's amazing. For anybody listening, BPM is beats per minute.
Yes, exactly.
Correct?
Yeah.
And it also essentially, I didn't know that BPM is connected to your heart rate.
So your heart rate tends to match the BPM.
Oh, no wonder DJs are like, they know at what pulse, because DJs also match the BPM, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Wow.
And it's
so there's whole science behind it. So when you say language and storytelling and lyricism, so are these songs with actual lyrics?
Yes.
Oh my
Spoke
God.
we're called Spoke. We believe in spoken word and the power of using language in a way that is most highly effective to give yourself personal and individual transformation, but then also to help transform society as well.
That's amazing.
One of the most important ways to make impact and make change is when things are articulated in a way that someone will understand. So that's why a therapist will be able to ask you exactly the right kind of questions, maybe offer certain tools, but they'll ask it in a way that almost unlocks your own sense of inner awareness and inner knowing, and then you go on a healing journey yourself, and then you're more aware of I'm feeling that way because of that. I'm feeling maybe like this because of that thing that's happened in my life. Okay, I'm now more aware, so I'm more in control, so now I can move forward and make better decisions. And all of that is essentially the construction of language and how we're that kind of connection. So that's the first thing. The second thing is musicians have always been the world's natural healers. Thousands of years, musicians are the reason why so many stories have carried through generation to generation. However, in our society, predominantly in our kind of growth at all costs society, we don't value artists the same way we don't value social workers or teachers or nurses in the way that we value some other parts of our society. So the role of artists in society, let's say here in the UK, has basically been diminished into just kind of entertainment, and maybe one or two of you will become really famous, but really you're just kind of entertainers. No, artists, they share the stories of the people. They share, you know, they envision better, more prosperous futures as well. They translate emotion. So that's why sometimes you'll listen to an artist and you'll be like, oh my God, I feel listened to and seen. And it's because that artist is able to translate things that can't quite be said in a way that is lyrical and it's emotional and all of these other things. So artists have a very important role in society, and what we're doing with Spoke is we're trying to bring that back and put artists at the forefront of mental health and well-being. And the reason we're doing that is because the mental health crisis is getting worse year by year. We are worse statistically now than we were 5 years ago.
And it's only going to go worse from here.
Exactly, but doesn't make sense, because we've got how many thousands and thousands more tools and solutions do we have on the market now than we had 5 years ago? There's like new apps and products and services and this and that cropping up every single day, and it's like most are very, very well intentioned, but I don't see many almost like flipping the script and doing it differently and taking what we try to do is deliver, I guess, mental health care and wellness in a way that feels highly culturally relevant. So, and sorry, I'm maybe like tiptoeing around saying we try and make it feel less clinical, less yogi, less maybe connected. We want to make it very, very culturally relevant for all these millions of people that are not currently looking after themselves in a way that could be really beneficial. And we believe that we can do that by empowering and working with the right kinds of artists.
You're clearly on a mission, because you are one uplifting artists, which, as you said, are under, they're marginalized. They don't have as much of an impact that their art can perhaps have in the society and in an individual's life. And you are also uplifting the spirits of the person, your consumer, who's on the other side. In no way is Spoke a replacement for mental health therapy that you can get, but it is definitely complementary to what you can do. Is that correct?
That's exactly correct. And so there's lots of people that, I'll give you a really good example. A lot of my research is in actually young male mental health and male suicide, which is quite bad in the Western world. 75% of suicides are male. And emotional literacy is one of the big factors in that. So generally speaking, and I don't want to say just young boys, like actually lots of people of all genders and everything, but there's a big kind of, I guess with young boys in particular, they're less likely to learn emotional literacy. And that's quite literally acknowledging what a feeling actually is, and then being able to articulate it or just having that awareness of it. So then you find there a lot of people will not even be able to reach out to things like therapy because it's like, well, what am I going to say? I don't even know I don't even know what I'm feeling. All I know is I can't sleep, I'm overwhelmed, I'm getting angry at people, blah, 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 blah. But if you sit me down and ask me what's wrong, I might not be able to tell you what's wrong. And that is emotional literacy. And it's been proven now that if someone can learn emotional literacy, 50% of the problem tends to get solved because then you've got control of it because you've created that awareness. And I'm going to add a third tier onto, because yes, we care about artists and that's important. We care about individuals. But we also really care about society and creating big social change, because here especially, and in the US and a lot of the Western world, people don't think about the huge systemic barriers that are preventing them from actualizing their best self or being this vision of themselves that they really, really want. And that's awareness. So a part of that is like truth seeking. Okay, what am I up against here? What system am I in? What does this society value? Am I, facing barriers where there are like invisible forces that are stopping me from being able to be the way that I want to be, whereas this person can. And that's just a fact. In every society, some people will face those systemic barriers. And that's a really important part of awareness as well, because the only way I think anyone's going to heal is you've got to become more aware, and the only way to become more aware is being open to actual truth and truth seeking, and that can sometimes be really, really uncomfortable. And then that's the journey that I think it's great for people to go on if they're ready to go on it. And so we try and hint at that within Spoke. We're not here to do a sound bath like that, to take you 10 layers into your psyche where you could unlock something quite traumatic, you know. That can happen to people, and that's, can be very healing and very good. We don't do that, but we hint at.
I'm taking away emotional literacy as a very important keyword that you mentioned. I think it is so important, especially for young boys, young men. There's so much of pressure even on them in terms of their masculinity and just, approaching the world. And I love the stance that you have. That's incredible with Spoke. Yeah.
We are living in a mental health catastrophe, quite frankly, but there are lots of different forces at play here. So I think the male mental health issue is a really, really important thing for us as a society to be focusing on. There's huge links between that and the far right movement, for example. There's not enough positive male role models out there for young boys. These are the people that are leading countries and making decisions that affect millions and millions of people. So nobody can say that this isn't one of the most worthwhile problems to be trying to solve, but it's also a very deeply systemic, it's a wicked problem, which means that it feels like it's too big to ever, no one person or one mission or one organisation or startup, whatever, can ever fix this. We need thousands of aligned people, projects in all different sectors to be working together to create a network effect of change. And actually the only way we're going to make that change is by making some really big systemic changes. And those systemic changes, coincidentally, also are not quite what our government and what a lot like big business is maybe like wanting or advocating for, because the shift frankly needs to be away from a highly individualized, highly consumerist, almost highly capitalist culture. We need to be moving away from that in order to have a system where, more people are cared for and more people can meet their own life's purpose, really.
I love it. If anybody's considering to download the app Spoke, do you want to tell them something about what they should expect? How many artists are there? How many music genres are there? And what should they basically be looking forward to when they download the app?
So when you download the app, it gets to know a little bit about you. So it gets to know what your favourite music genres are, a bit about kind of your age and background. So we know each person.
Wait, it's personalised for me?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's part of the impact. Like if you have a therapist, they'll get to know a bit about you over some weeks, and then you come in and say, oh, I'm really anxious about relationships and I'm feeling heartbroken and I'm not able to sleep very well. Mm-hmm. So you will input things like that, and then it will give you a day's journey specifically for what you're going through in that time. So that's what our app does.
That's amazing.
It'll know a bit about you, and then you will say, I'm feeling really stressed about work and money, and I just need to get through this day. I need some energy, I need some positive, and it will give you that. So then it will give you a day's journey specifically for what you need. So we've worked with over 100 different artists, from producers, singers, songers, rappers, instrumentalists, like amazing artists. Currently, our genres, I guess, are like neo-soul, hip-hop, R&B, lots of kind of amazing vocals, and, there's like amapiano in there, there's some house music. So it's sort of like, I guess, very relevant to the genres that people in London tend to like. Mm-hmm. That brings me on to the cultural relevance part. So it's with music, the connection that we tend to have with music, it is based on our background, where we grew up, our own cultures. These, it's like, you might hear a song and be like, oh,
It's a feeling of nostalgia.
Feeling of nostalgia, exactly. Yeah. And so we created it for people in London with them in mind, and obviously we're now going to be creating for a lot more people as well. But saying that, people all over the world use Spoke and love it, so we've realised the sound of London has a universal kind of quality to it, which is really great.
Who is one artist who you want to collaborate with to produce lyrical music on Spoke?
I want to collaborate with Macklemore, and I have for a very long time.
Let's manifest it.
Let's manifest it. I'm working on a sharp, not turn, but I'm working on building Spoke in a direction that I believe is going to have the most impact, true impact worldwide. So I want to work with artists that are speaking up for humanity, are doing active work for, now we know objectively, the greater good. Yeah. And I think, now is very much the time that people and brands need to put their stake in the ground and say, I want to, these are my values, and I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to grow in that direction. And I think the brands that do are the ones that are going to benefit in the next 5 years. But I'm going to be honest, I don't care about whether we benefit or not. What I care about is making the world a better place.
And I think as much as we talk about climate emergency, which is very, very true, I think there is definitely a mental health emergency. Yeah. And often it's overlooked, still stigmatized. And I think we do need to really pay attention to it. And I think Spoke is doing such an incredible job. Yeah. I want to know from you about ASMR now. Okay. I love ASMR.
Oh, do you?
I love. I'm all about sound, by the way. So it's such a pleasure to have you, because I sleep to white noise. Oh, okay. I wake up to sound, positive, grounding affirmations.
Yeah. Do you know what white noise is? So white noise is every frequency at once, but it's the sound of gushing water in a river. So if you stand on a bridge over a river and then use one of those frequency you can literally get an app on your phone, it will come up. Every frequency is pretty much exactly the same, and that's what white noise is. Amazing. So the fact that you like to sleep to white noise, it might mean that in your DNA you used to sleep near a river.
Okay, I was in a desert, and it was barren, and there was absolutely no ounce of water. Absolutely, literally no ounce of water where I was living. So maybe perhaps like some other birds.
Maybe in some.
Yeah, but I am thoroughly into it. White noise, brown noise, ASMR. Yeah. And you know what's the most bizarre thing? I once I was sleeping and there was no fan in the room, and because I'm so I really want the noise of something going on, I put up on YouTube this 30-hour long video which was just a fan noise, and kid you not, there were 125 million people people listening to that wild stuff that I absolutely was like, wow, there are more people like me who want to listen to just this noise or the sound of fan, not noise.
Yeah,
I love it.
That kind of, a repetitive sound, it is. It can be therapeutic and it can be just relaxing. So I don't like ASMR.
Is ASMR on your app?
No.
I see.
We don't have ASMR on our app. Even though I guess some of the guidance could be seen as ASMR because it's very kind of close to the
and
the mouth
speaking into you.
It's very like a crisp kind of, I guess ASMR is just picking up that, closeness, so it feels like something's very, very close to you. I personally don't like it, but I know how many people do.
That's all right. I'm into all sorts of weird things. I love even slimes. Like how
you mean
it's very therapeutic and it's just very satisfying to watch.
Did you like Aliens when you were little?
No, come on. That's stretching it a little bit. I wouldn't, of course, let you go without asking you, what are you listening to? If you have a special song or a special episode on Spoke that you want to recommend.
Yeah, so one of my all-time favourite songs on Spoke is called Find Your Voice, and it's a song where it's about unleashing your inner voice, and it takes you on a bit of a journey, and it uses these amazing kind of like violins, and it's like it basically opens up. If you use, I guess, like Vedic yoga language, it will open up your throat chakra. It really helps with that kind of confidence you need to feel like your authentic self. So I love that song, and I listen to it whenever I'm about to give a pitch or a presentation. So I would really recommend it to anyone.
Sold. I'm honestly sold. I think just with the power of one song and the amount of impact that it can bring into your life, that's amazing. I want to know about your journey as a founder in terms of wellness, because often founders are grappling with so many things at once. They are, just dealing with a lot of people. What do you do for your wellness routine? Do you have some sacred wellness routine?
Sacred. Yeah, I guess it is kind of sacred. So being a founder is very difficult. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I think you just need to be a certain type of person to do stuff like this. So I think how I've started to deal with these extreme highs and lows, it can be very lonely as well. What just came into my mind so strongly was like, I went on a journey in that sound bath, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you did as well. Like, so many things. But one of the things that was like one of the parts of many parts that came into my head so strongly was almost like we're at this divide in, as a society. On the one hand, we look on this one side which has got all these like really bright lights, and I'm going to be honest, like the tech world and the world of being a tech founder it's in there. The kind of successes, what people see as success, it's all in this space over here. And then there's like a big block at the other end of it where you get in there, you make this success, and then you sort of spiral around in this area. And I think that within like the tech and the startup industry, it's very like that. There's a lot of like, LinkedIn hype, and success looks like a specific thing, how much money and exits and all of this stuff. And it's that, but that is the system. That is the capitalist system. That is also the system that is harming the world. That's what it looks like. And then there's this kind of other road that you look down the road and it is like quite dark, and it's like not many people are going down there, and the road looks kind of quite narrow. But then there's something really, really, really far away that it's almost like it's much wider and much more expansive and much better. And it all sounds very kind of hypothetical and vague, just because I literally imagined it while in a sound bath right now.
No, but you were articulating it so well, because it is a spiral. There's just such a dark side of being a founder that nobody talks about, because everyone's just busy glorifying their LinkedIn stats. They're glorifying about every little win that they have. Even if they've taken a shower, they want to talk about the 3 lessons I learned while showering today. So it's just very, very over-romanticized. We're just going to do a quick rapid fire.
Okay.
Yeah? What's a wellness trend you've tried and immediately regretted?
Oh my gosh.
let's spill the beans and let's see what you've got.
Oh my gosh, what have I tried and regretted? Something that I saw in LA, I never got this, was called a vampire facial.
Oh, yes.
Which is where they basically just take blood out of some
Yes.
other part of your body and put it in your face. And all I can think is, you are like, literally that's what yoga's for, and that's what doing handstands and standing upside down is for. So why don't you just be upside down for like 10 minutes a day and save yourself thousands of dollars?
All right. Do you have a fitness app on your phone that you use?
I don't have a fitness app. No, no, I don't.
Okay. Do you take therapy?
I did, yeah. No, I haven't for a little while. This is actually an interesting thing. So therapy, in the way we know it, like Western psychology, is only a proven model here in the West. And it is so amazing and important for dealing with like personal grief or personal traumas and all these things. So absolutely important to get therapy. But what I've realised is over the past, year and a half or so, the things that I feel like I'm contending with in my brain are so existential and so linked to like the collective. I started to find it wasn't working for me in the way that it did maybe like 3 years ago. So I've been seeking other kind of, other methods. Like being in community with people who are doing the same kind of work as I am, sharing and healing with other people, like doing circles with other people who, they feel aligned to the same kind of mission and same kind of work. So, and that kind of collective healing, that's what people have done. That's what women have done for thousands and thousands of years. Mm-hmm. It's sharing that, and that was always the form of therapy. So I've started to find that really, really working for me. Amazing. In these more recent times. But I'm not to say therapy isn't fantastic, because it is, and I probably will go back at some point soon. So
amazing. Well, this was such an incredible evening. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for talking to me about such a profound explanation of systemic changes, society, how everything is linked, how mental health is at such an urgent crossroads of our life at this point, and everything that you do with Spoke in terms of empowering artists, empowering young men to take agency and to take control of their own mental health. And as I said, like the product in itself, it's UK's first music-based wellness app, and I just wish you so much more success with it. Thank you so much for your time, Ariana.
Yeah, this has been the best podcast recording experience I've had, and I've done a lot of podcasts, and I think this is amazing because you so thoughtfully thought about my background, the things I'm interested in, and then booked this incredible experience in this temple. Like, I think that level of thoughtfulness I really appreciate, and it's been amazing speaking with you.
Thank you. I'm melting into a puddle right now. But thank you so much. I think you've just honestly graced the evening, and I'm so glad we're sitting in UK's only Shaolin temple with cool. you and with the amazing Joanna, who I will just go and speak to. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Bye.